you?
Phil, how you doing, buddy?
How'd your Super Bowl Sunday go?
Great. Just at home. We had a couple of things we had to take care of, so we really didn't go nowhere, but stayed home and watched it, had a couple of beers, the regular
Did you like
stuff.
the game? Did you enjoy it?
It's one of those games, I think, in which if you're a football fan, then, you have to enjoy both sides of it. It's like watching a baseball game with good pitching, where you kind of, it's hard to watch, maybe, for the guy who's not really maybe a full baseball fan,
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing, I think, where the defense, I think, made the offenses, each side, made the offense seem really bad, like they weren't. But they're just really, really good defenses. And so sometimes, especially when you see something like that and the quarterback doesn't have a whole lot of history or maybe, just is not known for being like a guy that can, quote unquote, take apart a defense type of thing, like we've seen in a lot of the last Super Bowls. I think that it's a little harder to watch. But I enjoyed watching the defensive side of it. And, that's kind of the changes to the game, how it's come over the years where you didn't have that before. You had a lot of strong offenses and the defenses just, they couldn't keep up with the guys or they weren't strong enough. But you could see nowadays that a lot of these defensive guys are stronger, faster, leaner.
Oh, man.
And
I noticed that right away.
Crazy, man. These guys are running over guys that are 350 pounds, It's pretty
so
amazing.
fast, yeah.
So strong and so fast. So, it's cool to watch that. You have to watch it from that angle, I guess, and to try to get something out of it. But definitely, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, there was one play. I don't even know what team it was because we had, frickin' my grandkid, my son, and a leaf blower going off, and Anthony and I, and it was Scott Bucher throwing stuff. But there was a play where a guy blitzed and he tackled the quarterback, but he missed him, and the guy rolls out, and this guy that tried to tackle him was on the dirt, got up and got back on him and just barely almost got him again. He was so fast.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I saw that, and I was blown away. By the way, Anthony and I won every quarter of the pool.
Really?
Yes, we won every quarter of the pool and celebrated last night, so it was great. Scott Bucher was not allowed to play that, so unfortunately he was not in it. But yeah, it was. I honestly didn't watch. Dan didn't even watch the game. We were so distracted. There was so much crap going on with the grandkid running around and everything. It's hard to.
It wasn't really a Super Bowl watch party. It was just
not really, right? It was like outside golfing with the kid and then playing around, and then the leaf blower. I don't know if you saw that degenerate
I didn't.
stuff. Yeah, they've got a leaf blower in there. It was pretty good.
3 field goals, really.
Yeah. So anyway, what else, man? Just getting close to the show. Fish are still biting.
Yeah.
Independence limits of bluefin tuna. Good stuff all around.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big thing. This is the time of year, all those big long trips, they get down there. I know seems like there's trips leaving every week right now on those longer trips. So, we're still kind of waiting for that big fish to get with it down below.
Yeah.
The saving grace here is that bluefin, it's
Really?
kind of saved a lot of those trips. And I was just talking to a guy this morning that got off of the RP, I think. And yeah, he did good down there. He says down at the Hurricane, fish, a huge abundance of fish,
right,
but also a huge abundance of sharks.
Yeah.
He said when these guys try to get out on the outside and try to, scratch up some wahoo. I mean, it was 4 wide on the sharks, so that makes it a little frustrating when that happens over and over and over again.
It gets sharky down there.
Yeah, so he said, it's a little tough, but they caught plenty of yellowfin down there for the guys that wanted to kind of put the time in. Nothing really, really big, which is kind of the goal down there, but luckily for them, they got a bunch of huge bluefin. He was even mentioning he just only does these longer trips, so never really had that bluefin experience.
Right.
How we've had the last 10 years, but he said he had a great trip and he caught that fish on the way up. But yeah, so that's the time of year right now.
You never know on these trips, Sam, but as you look back to the fall bite that we had, you on the Royal Star, we were on the Independence, man, that now it even looks more special. That was just such great fishing. And next year may be totally different. We may, pick at it and the 16-day boys will cream it, but man, we were blessed on those trips.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it too is like anything else. I mean, we did have really good fishing on the wahoo, but that was what saved us. The yellowfin fishing that we had last year, we didn't have that. So the stuff on the ridge or the Lejos wasn't really an option, and so, fishing is just kind of like that, right? Even if you go on these longer trips, sometimes, you go on these longer trips, you have more days, and you typically can figure out some way to make it happen. But sometimes it becomes one-dimensional and you don't catch the variety. But I've been on these trips and we we've kind of, had every single experience from catching 6 or 7 species to just catching a whole bunch of one species. So, I think the more you go, the more you realize that you just never know. And yeah, we had that great wahoo fishing. And the wahoo, it kind of like counts double, because it's some fish that you can't get around here.
I know.
And so when you catch a bunch of those, it's even better. So
Yeah.
that was really, really cool.
You want me to read a couple comments here?
Sure.
Let's get it rocking and rolling. Sam's read ahead, so he's going to grab something right now. Tommy Tarr, who took Scott Buchert out for lunch here recently and said Scott was a gentleman, which makes me wonder about Tommy Tarr. Sam, I'm looking for storage for my spools of fishing line and smaller spools of fluorocarbon that I can take on board the boat. Sam, something tells me you've got that answer for Tommy.
So Plano's had this guy out for a while. It's not very versatile in the sense that, you can't customize the sizes here, but if your spools fit in here, then this is one that's pretty good. But like I said, it only does the one kind of size of spool. I guess you can go a little smaller. You just can't go bigger or wider. They're kind of predetermined. There's 6 spots for that one. That one's pretty good if that fits you. Seaguar came out with this here a couple years ago, and these we sell pretty good for that. There's kind of a larger one and a smaller one. This is kind of, I guess, like your freshwater size. This is probably more the size that you're looking for. Also has 6 of these kind of exits here. And then they got this thing here where you can make it go through those holes, and then down through this Velcro, so that way the line isn't just coming out, or even worse, it gets sucked back in, and then you got to go in there to try to get it out again. So this one from Seaguar is pretty good. This is one we've been selling quite a bit of. So these are the 3 that I know of off the top of my head that we have here in stock.
All right, excellent. And one little mention about Plano tackle boxes. They were so gracious to donate tackle boxes for each one of the orphan kids that came out to our event down in Mexico here recently, where we taught kids how to repair a rod, then fed them all kinds of really, I was going to say healthy food, but we fed them all kinds of junk food, and they loved it. Candy and nachos, and Paulina was handing it out, and then every one of those kids got one of those tackle boxes. Courtesy of Plano, and we thank you so very much for making that happen. Mike Krinkovich, just when you thought it was safe to go out on the water again. Mike Krinkovich says, hi, boys. Davies Lures, does Sam have any clam gauges there? Yes, thank you, Davey. I would have forgotten that. Kind of hard to find unless you want to spend $20 for one. Sam is looking.
Yeah, we got one
He's
from
plowing
Promar.
through all kinds of stuff right now.
A lobster gauge. I don't know.
We're going to do a clam day. Dan, Michael Limon, we're going to have a jackpot that day. Most clams win. I think it's going to be February 28th. There's a very extreme low tide, and we're going to do it. Oh, my God. Is that a clam gauge?
So Promar makes this lobster gauge, so this doesn't have a clam side or clam measurement. But I think Promar might make one that does.
A clam. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's probably where you're going to want to get it.
If we let Brian know, we'll get it in like 2030. We should let him know tonight. Yeah, we need a clam gauge. Sam, I've been asking the rhetorical question, are there clams here like in Orange County and in Redondo? And it's not a thing anymore. Yeah. And then Davey, he dug one out of the surf the other day over in front of the house. And there's some people that say it's a thing. So we're thinking getting a bunch of people down there February 28th. I was thinking about like keeping it kind of low key instead of having 200 people down there with pitchforks and flames. It looks like you're going to storm the Bastille. But I don't know. Well, I'm kind of letting the cat out of the bag right now. So we'll see how that goes. So, Davey, thank you for reminding us about that. Steve Hooten. So he's known as Oxygen Steve because he brings an oxygen tank when he comes out. Nice. He's a great guy. Steve, great to see you, my friend. Tommy Tarr wants to know, Sam, do you sell Cranker Bloody Mary mix? And Sam's running over. Is that a new product that's available now? Sam is over. He's getting something. I think he's read ahead to something else, so I'll move ahead here. Sam, Chivo, whose birthday is coming up. Sam, do you have an Abbott MXJ Star Drag?
Sorry, I don't.
Answer is no.
So the one that we have here is an MXL. I think we got 2 of these here. That's all we have in the Star Drag for them. So that's the closest we got, Chivo. Sorry about that, man.
All right, there you go. Mike Krinkovich fires back at Tommy Tar. Hey, leave me out of this chit-chat conversation. I'm not the subject of Tackle Shop confessions unless you want me to take over. Not so veiled threat there. So we'll see how this goes tonight. I like it already.
You want him to take over?
No. Okay. Well, where's Mackie when you need him?
I know, huh?
Patrick Harnjack. Hello, fellas. Patrick, great to have you with us, my friend. It's been a while. Sam, how many reels are a must on an 8-day trip in October? Reel sizes, braid size, what do you suggest?
Yeah, that's a tough one, Mike, or Patrick. So, or who was asking? Yeah,
Patrick.
Yeah. So, I would say there's probably, 6 or 7, I would say. You're going to need, a 25-pound rod, 40-pound rod, probably a 50, maybe something like an 80, something that's heavy. I would take a jig stick myself. That might not be a necessary rod, but, there is sometimes you guys fish up the coast and fish for some yellowtail, so that's kind of cool. And then I'd still take a heavy rod, take a big rod. An 8-day trip's not something you're going to go down and fish the lower banks, but you might fish that bluefin. I mean, right now, if you're leaving on an 8-day today, I would say you'd almost for sure would need a big rod because they are catching some big bluefin down there. So, anything from 25 to 80 pound as far as your rigs, 25 to 80, and then even like 130 or something like that, like a big rail rod, I would still factor into the deal. Now, as the trip gets closer and you start kind of seeing what's out there, you might even take a dedicated wahoo rod. The wahoo fishing, like we were just talking about earlier, last year was phenomenal, during that time of year. And, it's hard to say that it's going to be like that again, but wahoo is typically on the menu that time of year. And so you want to take that. In fact, you may take a dedicated wahoo rod. And why we say dedicated is that when you're down there in those wahoo areas, whether it's on the ridge or at Alejos, you might have rods that you're fishing 40 and 50 pound. You could just say, well, why can't I just use one of those? Well, those wahoo, most of the time, not on our trips, we had just days and days where we were kind of targeting them. But there's a lot of times when you're fishing tuna with 40 or 50 pound, and then the wahoo come through, and you pretty much got to get in the water right away with the wahoo jig tied on already. So you want to have it tied on. You don't really want to have something that you're going to have to take out of your main arsenal setups and then try to convert that quickly into a wahoo setup. So that would add another rod right there. So I think you're at about six or 7 rods, no doubt. I think most guys that go on those kinds of trips are taking more on the order of 10 or 12 rods. I think pretty common.
Yeah.
Once you factor in those jig sticks or maybe even something else, you might take like a vertical jigging rod or things like that. But obviously that's kind of more on the outside, not really something you really need. But those other ones I think you got to have.
Great stuff. Hey, by the way, everybody, I've been talking to a lot of people in Mexico who've been reaching out to Friedman Adventures here recently. Just want to let you all know the dog and we've got a tournament for kids down there in Rosarito Beach coming up that we're participating in and helping with. We're doing some art projects down in the Bay of LA with a girl down there who's teaching art to children free of charge. And we were talking to some other folks where we're going to be doing a lot in Mexico. So we'll keep you up to date on all of that. We are enjoying our work south of the border, enjoying all the people down there. There's something else coming up down there too, Anthony. I forget what it is, but we got just a myriad of different things going on. Working with Diego Nuno on a project. I'll bring you up to date on all of that. Gonzalez Fishing Mendez. What a great supporter of Friedman Adventures. I see him on the morning briefing. I see him on the Danny Cadota show. And here he is saying, good evening, Phil, Sam, Mad Dog Custom Rods, and the Friedman Adventure family. Bless you for being here, my friend. Wow, Willie. Evening, young men. Fishing is fishing. You never know what you're going to get. Very true.
That's pretty much
sage words there. Pretty much. That's a beauty of bottom fishing, actually, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely don't know. Yeah.
I know. It's like, whoa, what do I got? It's pulling hard. It's cool. Good stuff. Chuck Zimmer, Z Custom Rods. Chuck, it's been way too long. Like what? A week? It's good to see you. How's it going, gentlemen? I'm looking for Arturo Aguirre, right? Aguirre from last week. Arturo, you won the raffle. We're looking for you. We've sent you messages. We're trying to locate you. Did he win which one? Chuck's rod.
That explains it. Right
Arturo, If you're listening, yeah, he doesn't want it. Poor Chuck. Arturo, you can contact me, 657-227-6459. Just send me a text. I'll put you and Chuck together, but we want to get you that rod. I'll be mentioning this on the morning briefing, and we're going to try to run you down here. We've been trying to reach you and have been unable to do so. Thang Nguyen, great to see you here. You're always such a great supporter. Hello, guys. I need a good name crimping pliers. Sam.
You know, Thang, a lot of those pliers, they're pretty similar. When you go to choose one, I mean, you know, any of the bigger name brands are good. We sell a couple from Amoy, a couple other companies here. I'm drawing a blank here, but
that guy that I did stuff with, do you still? Does he do crimping pliers? Do you remember that guy?
You're talking about toy pliers?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does actually a couple of nice ones, depending on what kind of crimps you want to do. If you're looking for more like your Wahoo stuff, actually that guy from Toy Pliers makes a super nice, what they call a mini crimper plier for doing that small Wahoo wire. I like that a lot. But if you're doing more like your bigger stuff like bite leaders and kite leaders and things like that, 200 pound and you know, up to 400 pound, then more your standard crimper. But there's quite a few out there. I know that even the guys from Nomad are coming out with one, and I know we ordered some for the show. They're going to have a special deal. You buy one of their tools and you get something at their booth. I forget what it is, but they have a promotion going on for the show. That's probably what I would do, is maybe wait and go and see what you see at the show. You're going to find that the head part of it, the part that's actually doing the crimping, is almost identical on every crimper, until you get into some real specialty crimpers. But the head part is virtually identical on all of them. The one thing that I would look at when you go is if there's many of them on a peg, or maybe they got multiple pegs of them, is that once in a while the head itself would be a little bit misaligned. Now it'll still crimp just fine. It'll still hold. It's not going to be something that's going to affect how the crimp is working, but it just doesn't look as neat. I personally won't use one, only because it looks so nice when that crimp just goes down nice and even. So about the only thing that I would look at is when you go to choose one, no matter what the brand is look at the head itself. It's got two parts that's coming down like that. Just see that thing is lined up real good. That's about it. I mean, there are some crimpers out there, like Jinkai makes a crimper that some guys like, but once again, it's a very similar head, and that's going to be about the same on all of them.
All right, Chuck Zimmer back with us again. Chuck, Sam, do you have any of those 8001 blanks left?
8000 light.
8,000 light, pardon me.
800.
800 light.
Let me go look.
800 light. Sam is off to check that out. So a lot of stuff going on in Mexico, and we're going to ask for your help with art supplies. We're going to ask for your help with a lot of the great stuff we're doing south of the border. It's really an honor for us to do it. We're loving what's going on down in Mexico. I had the park ranger at one of the parks down there about 4 hours below Ensenada reach out to me and say, hey, Friedman Adventures, we need you here at the park. We want to show you around. And it's actually a park where you go up into the elevation down below. It's about a 4-hour drive from Ensenada, and you go up, and it actually snows there at times. So Anthony and I are planning on maybe, with this rain coming and this cold weather, we might have to venture up there during that or right after that. I think that would be fun. Sam, take it away.
If it's raining or snowing, that's when you should go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
4 hours from Ensenada and you're in the snow in Baja. That's weird, right? I like that, man.
So Chuck, no, I think what you saw on the post that I posted some blanks maybe about 3 or 4 days ago. So a bunch of cow starts that I had gotten in, and there wasn't an 800L in that mix. So I'm not sure if you maybe didn't see the post all the way through, or maybe got confused and you were looking for one that I did show on there.
Sam, or he gets easily confused.
Yeah. And so I do have an 800XL, which is super nice blank. I'm not sure if that's the one you saw, or 800ML. So those were in the picture, the video that I posted. And so I have those here, but no 800 light. That wasn't in there, and I don't have one right now.
All right, Thang Nguyen is with us. Hey, Sam, do you think the Sunline Saltimate Tuna Gate fluorocarbon is worth the price? They're so expensive.
Is it? I'd have to see.
You'd have to see if it's expensive?
Yeah. Let me go look.
Well, is it a good product?
So Sunline is kind of known for making a lot of specialty products. They're an original manufacturer for a lot of different brands. So they make stuff for all kinds of brands, and so they know what they're doing for sure. I think that tuna gate fluorocarbon is a specialty made fluorocarbon, specially made for those guys that are throwing poppers and like for big tuna. I know on the East Coast it's a huge deal. So it probably has like a lot of impact resistance and all that kind of stuff. Maybe a lot of tooth resistance or abrasion resistance. Probably a little higher on that product than other ones. So it's probably a very specialty product that probably you may or may not need. So I think that if you need something like that, then yeah, it's something I would get. I'm looking at the price right now. Let me see here, just a general price online. I'm not sure if this is what you're looking for, but it's like $40 for a 50-yard spool. I think that's about average. I wouldn't say that that's really expensive, but maybe you've seen it somewhere else that it costs more. I don't know. They have this other stuff called Salty Mate Tuna Gate line. They got all kind of stuff, man. But I know I've seen it as much as $70 or something like that. But I know that the stuff that they make is very, very, very task oriented. That it's supposed to do a certain thing. So kind of look into that first and make sure it's exactly what you need. You may not even need it, but I know for sure it's a quality line. That's for sure.
All right, very good. Thank you so much, Thang. Manila Ice Cream. Jason says, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. Jason, always good to see you. My friend, thank you so much for being here. Chivo says, Sam, I know they are a little pricey. Your review.
He's talking about the Abbott.
He's talking about the Abbott, or the Abbott that he referenced, I think.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good. I haven't really had, we haven't sold that many, to be honest with you, to get kind of a lot of feedback on them, and we haven't gotten any back for doing any kind of service. So it's kind of hard to say. I know this is a product that they came out with a few years back. From what I have seen, I haven't really filled a whole lot of them. Ones that I have filled, they feel fine. They got decent free spool. I don't really have a review on them, to be honest with you. I haven't used one, and I just don't have a lot of customers that have. But Abbott makes a great product. They've been making some of the best reels on the market for, gosh, probably 25 years or something like that. The first one that they came out with, and so they definitely know what they're doing. I wouldn't have any reservations as to trying one out. I just haven't, specifically this model.
All right, very good. Richard Hughes says, the crankshaft is here. I love it, Richard. Good stuff. Kevin says, hey, brother, where is this store located? Big softball for you, Sam. Sorry, thanks, man, and it's great to see you again, like always. Thanks, Kevin, for being here. Sam, where you at? What are your hours? Softball for you.
City of Carson. That's the biggest thing. So I'm not sure where you're at, but we're right off the 405. Our address is 21809 Avalon Boulevard, City of Carson. We're close to Long. I'm not sure where you're at, but close to Long Beach, Redondo Beach, that kind of area here. And so not that far, hopefully, from where you're at.
All right, good stuff. Let's go to our friend Mike Krinkovich. Mike says, bottom line is, for an 8-day plus, bring everything you've got in the garage. You can't go back to the garage when you're 500 plus miles south of the border. That's the fun part. To which Richard Hughes says, profound. Yeah. How many times have you heard that before? Like, bring everything you've got? I've never heard that before.
Yeah. Well, it depends on how much you got, I guess,
And so the cranker takes a shot at you. I say it's a shot. He says, hey, Sammy, scoot over. I got this. So his advice there is specifying exactly what kind of reels and rods you might need. That's not the good advice. Just bring everything you got in the kitchen sink in the garage and wherever else you got.
Maybe you don't have that much, and what you have is not enough. So.
That's true.
Yeah.
The cranker, what do you say? Profound. Big Block says, good evening, guys. Going on the Legend out of San Diego in early June on a 2-day trip. What does the 8-ball, I don't know where the 8-ball is. Sam's looking right now. What does the 8-ball say about big bluefin tuna? See you guys at the PCS show. We're looking. Hold on.
Since we can't find the 8-ball,
what can we do?
What about the cue ball?
Oh, wait a minute. What's that, my head?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. We got the 8-ball. Otherwise, the cue ball is ready to go. I'm ready. You want to rub the cue ball?
I do not.
I didn't think so. Oh my goodness.
How long have you been using that line?
Never. That's the first time, believe it or not. I'm surprised you didn't sock me in the mouth.
Uh-oh, look at that.
Very likely.
Very
likely.
There you go.
Big block. You got it, man. They're going to chew for you on that trip. It's going to be good. Patrick Hornjack. For a Wahoo, should we ask you or should we go to the cranker?
Yeah.
For a Wahoo setup, is a pin Fathom 40 a good choice? Braid and top shot size, or what size Abbott reel? Before Sam answers, I just want to say, bring the kitchen sink. There you go. Go ahead.
So if you're talking about a 2-speed, like lever drag Fathom, yeah, it's a decent choice in my opinion. You want to have something you could wind really, really fast. You know, those Wahoo are not something that's going to spool you, or you have to worry about a big long fight like a tuna would. With a tuna, you're fishing live bait, fly lining. You don't know whether you're going to hook a 30-pound tuna or a 130-pound tuna. So the last thing you want to be is tied up to one of those things with a star drag reel, especially when you got a whole bunch of nice lever drag 2-speed sitting in the rack. But for the Wahoo specifically, I personally just use a star drag reel. I use a Trinidad 20. I'm using 80-pound braid and 40 or 50-pound top shot. 50-pound probably being the most common, and that's worked just fine. With Wahoo fishing, don't worry so much about having a reel that is super strong, but I would worry about having something that you can cast real easy, cast far, and wind real fast. Winding fast is the number one component to the whole deal, is making sure you can wind fast, and you can wind for a long time too. So that's the other thing too. A smaller star drag reel you're going to find has a lot less resistance in the handle, and you're just going to be able to do it longer. Catching Wahoo also requires just being in the water. One of those things that it's not so much like yellowtail fishing where you're going to spot a fish or something like that, although that can happen. It's really more about just making as many casts as you can, being in the water as much as you can, and winding as fast as you can for as long as possible. So
just increases your chances, right?
Yeah, increases your chances. So really, that's the number one thing is something that's not going to slow you down. To me, that Fathom 40 is a great reel, and it would catch a fish just nice, especially at 6 in the morning when you first get up and you're full of energy. 3 or 4 in the afternoon, you might find that reel just doesn't feel as comfortable as a smaller star drag reel. So take that into consideration. If you're the kind of guy that maybe that reel doesn't slow you down, then yeah, that's fine. But more often than not, you're going to find that a star drag reel is just easier to wind on.
Patrick, thank you so much for the great question. What's that?
Yeah, this one right here would work. Yeah, Anthony was saying. Yeah, but something like this is fine. This is pretty much like a Trinidad 20, but you could be if you're talking about a Fathom 40 star drag, I think that's fine. I probably would use more like a 30 or a 25 narrow, but something in that smaller size, I prefer for sure.
All right, thank you so much, Patrick. Matthew, good to have you with us, my friend. Hi, guys, great show. Sam, how would you rig for sheephead? Can multiple hooks be used? Thanks.
I guess you could use multiple hooks.
Well, just to make back in the day, yeah, I'd take a 5-hook Ganyan at Ribbon Rock on the backside of Catalina and just catch 3 at a time, 4 at a time. Yeah.
Yeah,
but I don't know if can you do that?
I don't know if you could.
I don't think. Yeah, right.
Hooks,
yeah, exactly.
So most of the time, most of the guys are going to be using an X sinker and just a regular hook. Your bait, that's kind of become the thing here the last, 6-7 years, is guys going and using shrimp. Store-bought shrimp doesn't have to be a fishing brand shrimp or whatever, and can't use a fake shrimp. I think, but what about using a rubber shrimp? I'm sure it might work, but nothing, in my opinion, that I've seen works as good as just regular shrimp. So that to me is probably going to be my biggest tip, is just going out and buying a half pound of shrimp at your local Ralph's or whatever you got closest to you. Something cheap. You don't have to buy a special shrimp either. Just any of the cheapest frozen shrimp you can get. That's going to give you a big leg up. But just an X sinker, and then what size is just going to depend on current, depth, anywhere from a ½ ounce to a 2 ounce. It just depends on where you're fishing.
Giver Plus, welcome, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us here at Island Fishing Tackle on Tackle Shop Confessions. Great to have you with us. Hit that like button, my friends. We appreciate it when you do that. Hello, Phil and Sam. Same. I'm wondering if you carry US 100 XF blank. Sam just ran off to go take a look at that right now. I'll remind you all that I'll be doing the morning briefing tomorrow morning, bright and early in the morning, and we will have the very latest for you. We have a 5-day trip coming up on the Independence, and you can actually sleep on the boat the night before departure, which is awesome. You don't have to be down there. You don't have to get up at 2 in the morning and then be down there at 5:30. It's just so brutal. You get to go down there on the 12th of April, spend the night on the mighty Independence, and then the boat just starts heading south in the morning on the 13th. Back in the 18th, so you're back one day before a day at the docks in San Diego. It's just perfectly planned trip, and with this great signal, and it's been really magnificent. The bluefin tuna down there a couple hundred miles south of the point. If that stays a thing, it could be absolutely fantastic. Sam, you're back.
So sorry about that. I don't have that one in stock right now. We normally do carry it and we can get it for you anytime, but I don't have it in stock right now. Sorry about that.
All right, very good. Thank you, Matthew. Giver Plus. And Chuck Zimmer says, yep, the XI, the number
XL.
XL.
Yep, I got that one, Chuck. It's right there. Yep.
All right, Mike.
800 XL.
Mike Krinkovich. Wow, Phil, breaking news. You let out the secret. I didn't say anything. That CalStar has a super secret line of blanks. The 8000s, very hard to find at this time. Phil, please stay in your lane. What did I say about it?
Because he was asking for an 800L blank. You kept saying 8,000.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Mike. You got me, Mike. God darn it.
Yep.
You got me. What can I say? Vam 7887. Thank you, Vam, for being here. Good evening, guys. What's a good rod for someone that fishes from the break wall for bass? That's a lot of fun fishing those bass on the break wall. Sam.
That's become kind of like a really, really popular thing. The longer the better. It doesn't have to be. A lot of the guys that come in here are fishing a 7 to 7.5 foot rod. I think that's just easier for them to kind of like transport in their car. But the guys that do it a lot and maybe just take the time to get something a little bit more dedicated for that are fishing an 8 foot rod. An 8 foot rod is probably the most common thing. But you can go even longer. One of the things you have to consider, depending on where you're fishing, which jetty you're fishing, and they're all different, is if the rocks are real high and you have to basically bring that fish out of the water way far out in front of you because of the way that the rocks are going down, you want to have a longer rod for that. So some of that kind of does depend on which jetty you're fishing from. But generally, an 8 foot rod is going to be what I would recommend and probably what you're going to find the most selection in.
All right, great stuff. Henry, thank you for joining us. He's headed to La Paz, Baja on March. Any recommendations on tackle? You're going to probably see Sierras on the beach and see a lot of roosters, and then yellowtail become a thing out there at the Todos Santos Island. Sam, take it away. And, you might catch a yellowfin. There's even been some yellowfin caught offshore there for tail hunter here in the last week or so. It's been pretty crazy.
One other note, too, for Vam, the one previous year is I didn't mention the line rating. Something that's going to be 8 to 17, 10 to 20, 12 to 25 would probably be on the heavy side, but 10 to 20, 8 to 17. As far as tackle for La Paz, this time of year, they're going to start getting a little bit more of that yellowtail. A lot of the times they're fishing bait down deep. You're going to catch a mackerel. I mean, if you're going on a ponga, I'm not sure if you're fishing from a ponga or trying to fish from shore, but I definitely would take some lead or some yo-yo jigs if you're fishing on a ponga. That's going to be the way you're going to do it. Some trolling jigs, just some feathers, or Rapala, something like a X-Rap 30 or something like that would be pretty good for trolling for down there. But, March is still a little early, but, a lot of guys go down there and do really, really good. Yeah, you may not catch like marlin or dorado, a little bit early for that, but you might do really good on the yellowtail, maybe on some tuna, maybe on some local rooster fish or something like that. So there's definitely some good fishing. Also, too, this time of year, I think that they target a little bit more of that, like that Cabrera snapper or something like that they get down there.
Yeah.
And that's also kind of like a yo-yo rod. You're going to be fishing bait on a dropper loop most likely, but same kind of rod, 6 to 7 foot, 7.5 foot being probably the longest you would want, and something rated like pretty heavy, like 30 to 60. Those snapper pull pretty hard.
And Henry, if you've got your trip planned already, this is irrelevant, but it's a good time of the year. It's a windy kind of time of the year to plan an extra day or so just to dodge that wind. It gets pretty breezy there up in the East Cape. It's a breezy time of the year. But as Sam said, I've been down there during that time of the year and just put the wood to the yellows and starting to get the rooster thing just starting to get going, so that's good. Richard Hughes asked the question, and this is where's Mackey kind of thing. Who's manning the gate? Kick, cranker, out. There you are.
You said it loud enough. Maybe
I
Mackie,
tried.
Maybe Mackie heard you.
I noticed the cranker has not responded to that comment, so we'll see. Maybe he's listening, and now he will. Hey, Phil says, Thang Nguyen, I'm thinking about canceling one of my trips so I can book the Indy 5-day trip in April. Thang, do what is best for you, my friend. We would love to have you on board with us, but please do whatever is best for yourself. And that trip looks exceptionally good to me. You never know, though. I mean, we've had trips during that time of the year that were very windy. We've had awesome trips during that time of the year. We would love to have you with us. And again, that sleepover on the 12th is really great.
Are there any spots available on that trip?
Yeah, there's a few spots still left.
Spots.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's some spots left on that. We would love to have you with us. Just let me know if I can do anything at all. All right, let's see. Jittering Jack. Jittering Jack.
Oh, pretty good.
Thank you for doing this show, Jack. Great to have you with us. It gets me stoked on fishing. Hey, that's the idea here, man. It's a good idea to store tuna jigs with leaders on. Is it a good idea? If so, what is a good way to do it? I am not liking keeping them in my 3,700 trays. Great question, Jack. Thanks for being here.
So I assume you're talking about knife jigs. Really, the number one storage solution is this Nomad lure bag here. Let me grab it here.
Sam's getting the lure bag right now. Anthony is looking at me like I'm crazy, or is he going to say something to me?
So this is the guy here. We actually did a video.
We did.
Yeah, pretty good video on using this thing, how to fill it. It actually even has a bag out here, which doesn't seem that big, but I'm telling you right now, it holds a lot. You get a free sticker with this one. But
Oh, very nice.
yeah. But you can put your pliers in there, a whole bunch of extra leaders, a whole bunch of extra assist hooks, and this will pretty much hold up to like a 400-gram jig, the longer ones. And even though it only has so many spots here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 6 on each side, 12 spots, you can put two jigs in each slot. Most jigs, sometimes even 3, depending on what how big around the jig is. But looking at that way, man, you get this thing loaded up, you can hardly carry the thing. So sometimes people think this isn't enough, but it's more than enough. This is pretty well made, lure holder. I haven't seen anything that is this good a quality. There's a couple other ones that are out there that are kind of like a modified, feather holder type of bag, and that works okay if you got maybe 5 or 6 jigs. But this is the Nomad Jig Wallet from Nomad Design. This thing works really good.
Yeah, and Jack, you might go on Friedman Adventures and do a search like Nomad Jig Bag, and that should pop up. Sam did an excellent video on that, and I think you'd really enjoy that. So check that out. Let us know if we can help you in any other way. Wed Willie, talking about guys who are always there for us, constantly supporting. I know I'm going to get bashed for this, but something like a Penn 8500 spin fisher works great for Wahoo. Right, I agree.
Yeah, no problem with that. In fact, there's a guy in my 11 day who uses the spinning reel for Wahoo fishing and does great with it. I mean, for him, that's what's easiest to wind fast. Another thing too that he's able to do with that thing that, when I first saw it, I'm like, man, this guy's not going to be able to catch too many Wahoo. You see the spinning reel, it's not something that kind of inspires you that this guy's going to have a lot of skill, but it turns out he's a pretty smart dude, and one of the things he's able to do is, with Wahoo fishing, you get a troll strike, and you got to get in the water quick. So you get a troll strike. Usually on these stops, you might have 3 or 4 other guys that get bit on a jig on the slide or just casting out. Pretty rare that we had what we had last year where you might get on a stop for a half an hour. That just doesn't happen that often. And if you can get in the water real quick, that's going to get you more Wahoo bites. Well, what he's able to do is that, sometimes the problem with getting in the water real quick is, everybody wants to catch Wahoo, so you're going to have a bunch of people at the back of the boat. You may not be able to cast your jig out because it's crowded behind you. There's already a bunch of guys at the bait tank. Maybe there's the 4 trolling guys. Maybe their buddies out there chit-chatting. So you may have 10, 12 guys in the back of the boat. You just can't make a cast because it's not safe. Well, with a spinning rod, one of the things he can do is he can underhand cast. So he can underhand cast away from the boat.
Oh, yeah.
Get in the water without worrying about snagging anybody. and that's I found that he actually does pretty well just from that one detail alone. So, yeah, a spinning reel can work fine. And 8,500 I think is a little bit big in my opinion. In the modern sizes, something like a 8,000 would probably be about right. 8,000, 10,000 in the modern sizes.
See why, Willie? You didn't get bashed here on Tackle Shop Confessions. There's no bashing going on unless you happen to be the cranker, and then who knows with all the razzmatazz going on out there. Kim Herbert. Kim, good to have you with us, my friend, in the great state of Missouri. Sam, do you carry bucket jig rings?
What is that?
It's like you have a 5-gallon bucket, and it lines the 5-gallon.
I've never heard of that.
Well, I mean, I've seen buckets with rings where you hang your jigs. So is that what he's talking about?
I'm not sure.
Ring that you just add to a
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that, and then you hang your jigs on it.
So there used to be a product a long time ago that was called a KP jig rig. It could be what you were talking about. I'm not sure.
KP jig rig, man. I like the way that comes off
So
your
it was
tongue.
actually a frame that would sit inside your bucket. Of course, on top of that frame would be a ring where you would tie that. Because otherwise, if you just had the ring only, it wouldn't be stabilized in any way. It'd have to be screwed into the sides or something like that. Well, this KP jig rig, they don't make it anymore. It's been some time, probably 25 years or something since they've made it, is that it actually had a frame that would go down to the bottom of the bucket that would hold up your ring. In fact, they even made a couple where there was like 2 levels of rings, to hold a whole bunch. Once again, you probably couldn't carry that thing if it was full. Those things work pretty good. One of the things you have to be mindful of is you really got to organize your jigs because you're going to lift it up from the middle, and if you got too much weight on one side, it's not stable. And so just be careful of that too. Also, if it's the kind of ring that sits up real high, you got to make sure you have something heavy down below, or else it gets a little top heavy, and on a boat it can actually tip over real easy. So I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about, but maybe it is.
Can you say KP jig ring 3 times fast?
I could, yeah.
Let's see it.
No, I'm fine.
Oh, you can do it. I know. It's a weird one. I like it, though, the way it rolled off your tongue. Michael Limon, will you please come forward and take a bow? Michael provided great entertainment today on the Danny Cadota Show. His grades are still excellent. Still excellent. So thank you, Michael. Michael Limon. All right, back to our questions. Trip Day 7131. Who is that, Anthony? That's somebody I know. I'm not sure. Question. Oh, JD. That's who it is. JD, Lucky, we love you, man. Question from JD. Sam, will you be on the El Dorado on the April 11th trip? I'm going to be on there, and he hopes to see you there.
For sure. In fact, I did that trip last year. It was really good. In fact, that was Diego's first overnight trip. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So we'll see what the weather's like. If it looks like the weather's going to be fair, which we've had actually a lot of good weather this year already.
Oh, my God.
You can't tell. It is April, and you never know if the weather's good again. I'll take them again. But otherwise, I'll be on it for sure.
All right, JD, I hope you get out there and have a great time. Lucky, we love you, man. I know you're watching. Want to send you and your mom and your dad all our very, very best. The cranker responds to Mackie coming after him. He says, "Come and get me, Wacky. I triple dog dare you." So you have this like normal kind of interchange going on here where people are asking legit questions, and then you got the cranker like flipping out. So I love it. I love every minute of this.
I do have one of those a comeback here for Kim Herbert.
Oh, yes.
So I did a little research, and I remember a guy that was selling a bucket that was kind of already made up, and it was kind of like this old style that we're talking about where it has a little jig ring on it. I just looked up his deal here, and he calls it the company is the Jig Rig. And he made these buckets, but I see here that he sells a ring that is made for a Yeti bucket. So I'm not really sure if there's something about the Yeti bucket that makes it work correctly, but it looks like that's something that's out there at $30. I do know, although I think he's Kim's from out of town, but I'll see if he's at the shows. He has been in the last couple of years. He sells a few of those there. I see him walking around, so. I would check that out from him.
All right, very good. Dan Lightfoot, who's sitting right out here, that is Michael Limon's grandpa, great guy, says, hit that like button. Dan, thank you so much for reminding everybody. Chewy in SoCal. Does anyone have an update on the gentleman that was airlifted off the long-range boat? I believe it was Jeff lifted off the Red Rooster 3. I think you're right on that. Not sure, but would like to know how he made out. I do not, but he remains in our thoughts and prayers, and hopefully he's okay. I'll try to look into that for you and see, but we sure hope he's okay and that he got off in time. And there's nobody like the Red Rooster. I was going to say the United States Coast Guard, but also when you're guys on a sport boat, you watch them and they're gaffing fish and they're doing all this. And when they flip that switch and go into emergency mode, it's amazing how good they are at it and how professional they are at it. And they make that whole air to sea rescue flawless. It's beautiful, both with the USCG and the great crews in San Diego. Amazing stuff. Hopefully he's doing good. Richard Hughes back probably fighting with the cranker. Well, I love it. He can't treat you like that. Mackie, kick him to the curb. Dan, what do you say out there? Kick him to the curb or not? Yeah, out. That's what he says right there. Jittering Jack. Thank you. I will just have to head down there and give you Sam some money. How's that, Sam? That sounds good, right?
There it is.
Thing. Win is back with us. Hey, Sam, can I see the Panvisix 12 or the 16 if you have it in stock? Thank you very much.
16
Man, you're getting Sam's steps in tonight, thing. Way to go. He's all over the place here. He's going to be up to 10,000 steps before you know it. What else do we have coming up? We have our April trip coming up. We have our February 21st get-together down there on Anderson Street and Pacific Coast Highway. Tentatively clamming on the 28th of February, and then another great celebration. It's my birthday celebration. It's going to be a lot of fun. March the 22nd. Dan has already said he's going to stand me up on that.
Who's the next rep?
No, I don't know. Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that in a second.
So this is the 16. Had that in the case there, but yeah, really nice reel. Something you can fish either like sinker rig, heavy fly lining, but a lot of guys are using this for the nighttime knife jigging too. This is kind of about like the smallest reel that I would still recommend even when there's big fish around. I've seen a lot of big fish caught on this. A lot of guys too will put the bigger handle that comes on the 20, 30, and 50. You can put that bigger handle on here. Pretty common. That's what I do on mine. The 12 is just a little smaller. And also to that 12, I would say is more of maybe just a reel that guys use for some more kind of medium heavy fly lining and maybe for fishing a sinker rig at times. But the 16, I think, has been kind of the workhorse size reel just because it can do everything.
All right, excellent. When is the next raffle, Anthony? 2 weeks from now? 2 weeks from tonight.
Like 2 weeks.
We have another great, big, huge, monstrous, spectacular, extravaganza raffle right here on Tackle Shop Confessions. I will be letting you know what you can win, but look forward to that. And if you want to get a head start on it, send Chuck a text right now because he's sitting around picking his nose doing nothing. 310-918-1448. Chuck Zimmer at Z Custom Rods. Wild Willie says hanging the jigs on a bucket was what we did back in the day. Absolutely, I remember. But many of us spent more time hooking ourselves. I still have the scars from those wild moments. Yeah, they were kind of a pain in the neck.
And also, too, your hooks would get all rusty and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I mean, it's cool for storing them at home, but it seems like when you see that, you see a bucket, it kind of gives you the idea of it's kind of like a do-it-yourself cheap tackle box type of thing. And you could, but man, if you have too many jigs like floating up there, and well, the other side of it too is you just don't need that many jigs on a trip.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't care how long of a trip you're on.
You don't need 50 jigs.
You just don't. You just don't. And so it really is kind of more of a home storage thing, which at that rate, you're probably better off just having some kind of, straight type of hanging system or something like that, or putting them in Plano boxes. You put them in a 3700 size or 3600 size Plano box. You can store them and stack the boxes, organize your jigs. Those buckets, they're cool. I guess if you put a lid on them and then you need a seat, then you got a seat. That is kind of cool. But they just hold so many jigs. You just don't need that many jigs.
Sam, when's the big show? And do you have any updates on any specials that you got going on? Anything like that? When is it? Where is it? Get us up to date.
Yeah, nothing that I got since the last week, but it's March 5th through the 8th, Orange County Fairgrounds. It is continuing to grow. As far as just the things that are coming through, I do foresee this week kind of getting the last of what our deals are going to be. I wish I had a couple things here to show you here.
But maybe next Monday we'll have some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're getting a bunch of CalStar, United Composites, Rain Shadow's actually delivering a bunch of blanks to the show that are going to be kind of a limited edition special color kind of deal. I got a bunch of those coming and stuff like that. So I know there's so much. I mean, the show is just so big. You could spend the whole day just talking about every single booth and what they're going to have. It's a big deal. So for you guys that don't know about it, just look them up. Pacific Coast Sport Fishing. I think it's called the Sport Fishing Festival officially, if you looked it up that way. But it's Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Show, or PCS Show as it's known. It's become the big show, and everybody's kind of hot on it. In fact, we get questions every day about, well, how much are you going to sell this for? How much are you going to sell that for? Some of that stuff is kind of still getting worked out. I mean, generally, on most reels, which is kind of a big question, the big deal there, in my opinion, because everybody's going to have the same deal, by and large, between 10% to 15%, depending on the reel and the brand. But to me, the big deal is that Berkley is doing that free line giveaway again.
Yeah, that's amazing.
The fact that you can kind of double up on your discount, normally in the past, you would get one or the other. You'd either get a discount on the reel or free line. And depending on the reel, you would choose one or the other. Small reel, take the discount because it doesn't fit that much line.
Yeah.
Big reel, take the line because the line was worth more than the discount. So now you can get both,
That's friggin' amazing.
Yeah.
So big savings.
Big savings. And then, there's companies like Okuma that's going to be doing the free rod, that free rail rod promotion again. So that's going to be cool. I think Shimano, their big thing, they've got a bunch of reels that they're debuting. I know the Tranx 400B, their newest one, just released. We got two. It sold them right away. So I do have one to show you. It's pretty cool reel. It's a lot different as far as just the way it looks compared to the old one. I think that's going to be a hot reel. And I know Daiwa's they got a whole bunch of promotions that they got working too. I think one that I saw the other day come through is their Proteus rod, like the one you gave away the other day.
Yeah.
You buy any of their Proteus rods, and they start at about $220 or something like that. They're giving you another free rod.
Oh my God.
Not a Proteus rod, it's called a Saltist, and I think those are $150. So you figure you're going to get some kind of discount on the rod, just because it's coming out of the booth, and then you'll get that other rod from them. So I'm not sure if that's a limited, quantity type of thing. I'm sure at some point they're going to run out of those too, but that's a huge promotion. I was talking to the guys today from what's the company?
Which one?
The rod company. GraphTech. Rick Ozaki, he called me up today and was letting me know. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell anybody, but he's got 4 models, which actually are very, very popular models. And he's, offering a discount to the dealers. So you're going to see that. That's going to be a huge deal. I think they're $139.99, $149.99 rods that normally go for like $250.
Wow.
So $100 off on those. That's going to be a huge deal too. So I think we're going to sell a bunch of those. Like I said, rods that already sell a lot. Then new products, Matthew Groff. I don't know, for you guys that know Matthew Groff.
Matt Groff, great guy. Works right here. I go over
here.
and speak at his, what's the name of that?
South Bay Anglers.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he is kind of coming out with these new lead heads. This is a weedless head. And then he was saying that by the show, they're going to be here with a new swing head. Swing head is kind of like those ones where you could change out the hooks, kind of like the hooks that are made by Warbaits. The neck breakers, we sell those there. We're going to have those there at a discount as well. But for you guys that are going to Cedros or just fishing locally here and want to have a weedless head, I know he's going to have these there at the show. He's going to have a booth there. So
yeah, great.
He's going in full bore.
Way to go, Matt.
Different sizes from 1/4 ounce, looks here, to 2 ounce, 4 or 5 different colors. I think he's also going to be kind of cross promoting with the guys from Cedros. They're going to be having that. In fact, speaking about Cedros too, is through Hookup Baits, they came up with a really, really great idea. They're going to have a Baja pack. So it's a huge pack of lures, stuff that you would use mostly down there at Baja, larger sizes from 1.5 ounces to I think like 3 ounce. And last year with the sea bass bite that they had there, they ran out of stuff. Like, they couldn't get it. You guys were coming in here, we would get wiped out. Well, this is kind of a lure kit that is going to be really, at first we kind of were targeting it towards the Cedros crowd, but we saw that it's something that would work for anybody going to San Quintin or Ensenada or further down the coast, that this is a Baja bundle, Baja kit. We're going to have those available at the show as well. So, I mean, as I think of more things here, we'll throw it out there, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of great deals.
All right, so stay tuned in coming weeks because Sam's going to have a lot of great deals that not only he has, but other people at the show. It should be absolutely another great show, no question about it. Isaac joins us. Good evening, Sam, Phil, and the Friedman Adventures family. Isaac, thanks for joining us. Chewy in SoCal. The Jig Rig has a booth at the show, and the buckets are cheaper. He makes a deal for the show.
Yeah. Just like most of the manufacturers, they go down there and they have a show special. So that's a pretty good thing. But I think he's up there. Where's he at? I was asking about the bucket. Was he's from out of town, I think.
Yeah.
Kim Herbert. Yeah. So we'll have to figure out something like that. Maybe get it to you somehow.
Yeah, get one for Kim and then leave it in San Diego. He's always fishing down there in the summertime. So, yeah, let us know how we can help you on that, Kim. We'd be happy to do it. Phil, is this the year for albacore? Chewy asks. And Chewy, we'll go to the 8-ball first. Can't say right now. But I can say, heck, yeah, it's the... I mean, I've been saying that for, 25 years?
At least.
So I'm not giving up now, let me tell you. Indications say yes. On second thought, the 8-ball is changing its mind as we go along. We're going to ask the 8-ball one more time, and it says, answer unclear, ask later. So maybe when we get a better idea of what the oceanography is going to be, we'll be able to tell you about. Chewy, I'm going with it, man. What the heck? Anchovies, cooler water. Looks like albacore year to me. I've been saying it for 450 years, and we haven't seen one of those long fins anywhere near San Diego.
And you know what I was
since I started.
Is that the water is actually warmer this year.
It is for the wintertime, for sure. But you're going to see that water, I think, cool down here middle of February when we start getting rain and Arctic-based storms, and it's going to go down to 55 degrees and screw everything up for a while.
It could be.
All right, let's go back to Isaac. Sam, I have the heavier braid. Thoughts on taking some off and putting lighter braid on for knife jigging, Sam? The idea is that you fish 65-pound and it sinks quicker, gets to the fish, you get bit. What say ye?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely been kind of the trend lately, that 65-pound. I can't say that that's what you're going to see a majority of people doing quite yet. I think 80-pound is still kind of the most common size for bigger fish fishing. I'm not sure if you're talking about that or you're talking about rockfish fishing. Now, on the rockfish side, guys are really, really committed to the light braid just because they're not afraid of losing a big fish. You're fishing for rock cod, you're going to be just fine. Guys going 30-pound, in fact, 20-pound even being a really common size. And really what it's doing is not only does it going to sink faster, but you're going to stay vertical longer. With all your jigging, whether it's rock cod fishing or tuna fishing, staying vertical and having the best action on your jig is really the key in what you want to have. So, but definitely that's a common thing guys are doing is they'll have two sets of line even sometimes. They'll have like a rockfish set or a 20-pound test, and they may only have a small portion of it, and then they'll have like their heavy line. So, you know, it is kind of something that you may want to even consider, just like any other kind of fishing, is having multiple rigs. You might have one with 100-pound and then another one with 65-pound, just like you would fishing heavy line for bait.
All right, good stuff. Excuse me. Isaac, great question. And Isaac also says that jig bag that you just showed, this one here, it works great. You know, he's used it, and it's really, really good. Dave Clark, evening, gents. Dave, thank you for being here. Sam, I had you put the large handle on my 12 Isaacs. Great addition for pulling on big yellows at the rocks. We're great.
That's to me, that's like the nicest upgrade. You know, a lot of times people are, you know, comparing reels, this and that. And really, for me, the knob that's at the end of the whole deal is really what I look at when I'm choosing a reel. And that knob on that larger knob that he's talking about, to me, is a really comfortable, really good for pulling on big fish. So, yeah, consider doing that if you get that reel.
All right, excellent. FriedmanAdventures.com is live. You can go there and check out all kinds of great stuff. There's a blog there. There's all kinds of great information. And Anthony kind of watches where people are visiting from, and he says, we've got people from China, Japan, all over the United States, Mexico, Costa Rica, Panama. So we thank you all for that. Really, really appreciate it. Isaac also says to Thang Nguyen, Thang, I've got the 16, and it's an awesome reel. So there is a testimonial for you. Thing. HX Wolf, thank you so much for being here, my friend. Awesome show as usual. Gentlemen, thank you. Friedman Adventures, thank you so much for being here. We really, really appreciate it. Wild Willie 160, any insight on who has a discount for a Penn 132 speed, maybe spooled with line as well?
You know, I don't
Wild
know.
Willie.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to have a 130. I don't know if you are talking about a 30, which will have them for sure, but a 130, which is their largest reel. I don't know who would have that at the show. Not really a reel that we use a whole lot out here. The other part of it too is that I don't know if Berkeley is going to be filling any of the reels that big. I'm not sure if the line winder is going to accommodate it. So, go down to the show. You never know. There might be one there. But as far as the line part of it, that's something that, I think pretty much every booth just doesn't do at their booth because it just takes up so much space. That it's expensive to have a booth there, and taking up that much space for line just doesn't make sense. But we're lucky that Berkeley has their promotion that they're doing. Although that reel being that size, there's a chance that it may not fit on those line winders that they have. So we'll have to see. You're not going to probably have too many guys to compare prices with. If there's only one of them there at the show, I'd be surprised. So, you just have to look around.
Excellent stuff. Are you watching back there? Anthony is walking with his phone talking to somebody. Michael's like a baby duck that copies its mother. He just goes right behind Anthony, and then Anthony turns around, he goes the other way, and then, see? Dan just pointed. There it is. He's like, all right, hey, Anthony. I'll call Philip and see if we can get down here with the leaf blower.
Oh, he's trying to.
He's imitating.
He's imitating.
Yeah, I like it. Good stuff. Michael Limon, congratulations on that. It's good stuff. All right, let's see. We've got Wild Willie. I want to say thank you to you. Thang Win, thanks back with us. Always great to have you with us. Sam, will the Shimano T-Bar fit onto old Shimano Talica 20? Thank you.
I believe so, yeah. I think that all of those handles, the main part of it, the way it connects to the actual reel, and also the shifting system is the same. They didn't change that, so you're good there. It should fit just fine, whether it's a Shimano or a T-bar from Tiburon. I think they all fit just fine.
All right, very good. Glacier Shark, talk about being from great places in the United States. Hello, everyone. Good evening from Alaska. Glacier Shark, always good to have you with us. See you a lot on the morning briefing. Thank you so much. Kim Herbert is back with us in Missouri right now. I'll call you about the jig rig if we can work out the details. I appreciate the great customer service. Thanking you, Sam, for that. You've helped him before.
Yeah.
You've sent him stuff, I think, and he's come in the
coming
shop
here.
with his daughter.
Maybe one of the things you can do is, talk to those guys, see what kind of promotion they have going on, and just, buy it from them, and then maybe they can bring it to my booth, and I'll bring it here to the shop or something like that. We'll figure something out for you.
The Cranker says, I'm so close to getting on that 5-day Indy trip, the Friedman Adventures Indy trip. Think about a price.
Well, I know exactly the price.
Yeah, I do too,
Same
actually.
as everybody else.
Don't have to think about it, right?
Same as everybody
hey, Mike,
else.
We don't have to think about it. You just go on www.independentsportfishing.com, and the price is right there. I'll think about one for you, though.
Maybe he's wondering if it's more for him.
Oh, it could be.
It could be.
I would let Richard Hughes decide that.
Yeah. If it's more for him, it could be.
Richard, what do we charge Mike? Jack Neal, 66. Jack, good to have you with us. The best place to learn about tackle and gear on YouTube. Thank you. Hey, thank you so much, Jack. That means the world to Sam and I. Sam is a fountain of information. Really great stuff here at Island Fishing Tackle. And if you don't get enough of it here on the Friedman Adventures Tackle Shop Confession Show, Sam's down here almost every single day, except for Sunday. You can come and join him. Jack, thank you. That means a great deal to us. Greg Sheridan. Hi, Phil and Sam. Beautiful evening to you. Same to you, Greg. How's the Freedom coming along? Is Tino Valentine going to run a few of those trips? My understanding is he is.
Is he? Okay.
That's what I hear. So I don't have that confirmed from Chris Isaac, but I'll definitely get on that and see. Mike Krinkovich says, count me in. He's going.
He's going.
Says there's 9 spots available, so he's going to go. All right, book it up tonight, Mike. When we're driving home tonight, we're going to look on the website, and it's going to say 8 spots if you're serious about this. Just get your credit card out.
Say it cold tomorrow.
Go on. Oh, you're going to call Paulina tomorrow. Paulina Varela or Paulina at the Independent Sport Fishing Office? $1 million, says Richard Hughes, is what he would charge Mike. So there you are. And he says, count me in. I'll call Paulina tomorrow. Yeah. Hey, that'll be great to have you on there, Mike. Always fun times. Well, I think we should get Richard Hughes on and then get a stateroom with the two of them in it.
Man.
That would be good, man. And then
I want the top stateroom this year.
he wants a top stateroom.
Why?
I don't want to be in the bottom of the boat.
Well, you should put all those old people down there, I guess, is what he's saying, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm saying that, but
Anthony, we just go where they put us.
Yeah.
We go where they put us. All right. What else? That's it. I think we're done. Are we done?
I think
mean,
so.
let's, guys,
So
gals,
raffle
2 weeks. Yeah, raffle right here. You can send Chuck a message right now, 310-918-1448. Richard Hughes says he's got to pay for all the people who are going to bail when they find out he's going.
That's why it's $1 million.
Even you're starting to laugh now. You don't pick on anybody.
It's a good one, though.
That's a great one, man. Richard Hughes is the best, man. A wicked sense of humor. I love it, man. He's written the song with Sam from Sam's in that thing, right?
Yeah.
In that song?
Writing a song must be the hardest thing to do.
You think?
I think so. One of the hardest things to do. for
Yeah,
sure.
I would know where to start with that.
Yeah.
Actually, I would. Hey, Grok, I need a song. No, I'm just kidding. All right, I think that's it. It's been great. It's been wonderful. Hit that like button. I'll see you for the morning briefing tomorrow. What else can I tell you? We'll have all kinds of other stuff coming up. February 21st, Anderson at PCH, 9 a.m. Also, March the 22nd, probably going clamming on March the 28th. I'll have details on that coming up. And Sam, why don't you tell everybody how they can find you here, your hours, and anything else you want to say?
Yeah, 21809 Avalon Boulevard, City of Carson. We're just close, real close to the 405 between the 710 and the 110 for you guys that are wondering from out of town. Phone number is 310-707-1205. And just want to say thanks to everybody out there that comes through and kind of says that they watch us on the show and really makes me feel good about keep doing the show, so that's cool. And then also want to thank my kids, Diego got really good grades.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Good job,
quarter.
Diego.
So he's up on that, a bunch of A's and B's, so that was cool. My daughter's doing really, really good too. And hope we get fishing out there this year.
Perfect. Good job, kids. That's the most important thing you can do. Get good grades right now. It's super, super important, like Michael Limon is doing also. Hey, have a great night. Blessings to you all. See you for the morning briefing. Take care. And Sam, thanks for having us in
man.
again.
You got it.
Appreciate it.